Okay, so hello. Today we have Dire Straits and Money for Nothing. So Dire Straits is a band I've heard of, but I've never listened to. And even though this song has, so many millions of views on YouTube, I don't recall it. So yeah, we're gonna get into this one today. It is raining pretty hard outside, so if you hear any of that, that's what that is. So let's get into this song. Talk about it after. We're doing the full version, 8 minutes 26 seconds. Cause yeah, full version. Why not? Let's go. Ominous. I like this already. Hey.
Look at them yo-yos, that's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working, that's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Now that ain't working, that's the way you do it. Let me tell you, damn guys ain't dumb. Maybe get a blister on your little finger. Maybe get a blister on your thumb. We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. To the little faggot with the earring and the makeup. Yeah, buddy, that's his own hair. The little faggot got his own jet airplane. The little faggot, he's a millionaire. We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. Move on, move on. Mama, she got it sticking in the cameraman. We could have some. And he's up there. What's that? Hawaiian noises. He's banging on the bongos like a chimpanzee. Oh, that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Get your money for nothing. Get your chicks for free. We got to install microwave oven, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move ain't working, that's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working, that's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Money for nothing, chicks for free. Money for nothing, and your chicks for free. Ooh, and money for nothing, chicks for free. Money for nothing, chicks for free. All that money for nothing, chicks for free. 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 Look at that, look at that. Money for nothing, chicks for free. 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 Easy, easy money. Easy, easy chicks for free. Easy, easy money for nothing. Chicks for free. That ain't working.
Well, the fade out here. So, Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. Again, my first time listening to Dire Straits here, and Money for Nothing, again, I guess their signature kind of a song, but one I've not heard of, which I'm kind of surprised by, honestly, because it has so many million views on YouTube here. So obviously, I have to start up the top with the intro here. The intro, almost 2 minutes long, I think it was. And what I see here is that Sting was on vocals. He was the one saying, "I want my MTV," and I just love the whole story of the song that we'll get into in a minute here. That I can see from my research. So yeah, I just love the arrangement. I mean, my God, the intro, the build up. Like I said, ominous intro. The drums, the freaking keyboards into the main riff there. Which again. I usually search up on Wikipedia and Songfacts and Genius.com just about the song because I want to talk about it afterwards. So I did see a little bit about what kind of inspired the song before I listened to it. But apparently Mark Knopfler, that name doesn't roll off my tongue. But yeah, guitarist and singer of the band. He kind of got inspired by Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, and if I didn't know that, I don't know if I would have caught it, as much. But obviously, that really does sound like a ZZ Top kind of tone, like Gibbons's tone, and especially for the '80s. I mean, ZZ Top was so big. I mean, they're one of the top bands or whatever of all time. Obviously, I mean, their sounds kind of incredible. But anyway, yeah. So like, I just loved. I mean that, yeah, just the riff, throughout the song, and how, yeah, again, how it just built up, and then that's what came out of it, that riff, and then like, it just, I mean, it was just so. It was just fire, as the kids say, and I have to say I love the intro, and I like how there's I didn't expect Sting to be on this, but apparently he did the vocals at the start, and then he was did harmonies with Mark, and kind of the backing vocals, and I like their harmonies. And I mean, again, that wailing voice on Sting, you can't really miss that. You kind of know when it's him, I think. So yeah, I just really enjoy that. And I mean, again, I guess the synthesizers, the keyboards, it was just like, just magic. It was all just really magic to me. So just looking at the credits here, because again, I'm not familiar with the band. So it says written by Sting and Mark Knopfler, and apparently this is one of the few songs where Mark is not the sole songwriter. Sting got credit for his part. And also it says drums Terry Williams and Omar Hakim. So apparently one of them did the intro, and the other did the rest of the song. So I mean, the intro was kind of its own little, being, or own little thing. The intro was so important, it seems. It was its own kind of thing. Guitar, Mark Knopfler and Jackie Sonny. Piano, Alan Clark, and background vocals, Sting. So that's what it says on Genius anyway. Also lead vocals again, Mark. Guy Fletcher on synthesizer, and John, I want to say Ilsley on bass. So yeah, again, so many musicians on here, but I mean, it came out like it came out rainbows here. I mean, this was just magic. This whole tune, 8 minutes, eight and a half minutes, and it was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like one of the songs, yeah, you can just really vibe with. It doesn't feel like 8.5 minutes. That's a long time for a song. But here it was just so good, and so good the whole time. So anyway, just get into talk about the lyrics, because obviously they're kind of important. What I was seeing here, there's kind of a story that goes along with the whole thing, which I kind of like. So the about on Genius, anyway. I had to look back at the TV for a second, what's going on. Anyway, the about on Genius is the most successful Dire Straits single. Money for Nothing is inspired by Mark listening to a man complaining about musicians that emerged in the 1980s. So the song features an introduction with Sting singing I Want My MTV. Because of this was the first song played on MTV Europe when it began airing. And then so Sting received the writing credit for the intro, which meant that this is one of the only, only 3 Dire Straits songs not credited to Knopfler alone. So yeah, again, that's like, so apparently, he wrote pretty much all of them. I don't know why I feel out of breath, but I feel like I'm talking fast. But yeah, so I just, Sting on this track. And again, I mean, Sting was obviously, I guess the late 70s is when, the Police came in. But, 80s, again, they're still there. But again, talking about, I just like how apparently he went into this, I guess it was like a hardware store, whatever it was, one of those kind of shops, whatever, appliance store. And, there's a guy there, a manual kind of worker, whatever, manual labor kind of stuff he did. And I guess it talks about it in the chorus. This is kind of just, I guess, from his point of view. Mark is singing from this guy's point of view that he saw in the shop. And I like that it says on Wikipedia here that he heard them talking, and he asked for a piece of paper, and he was like, can you give me a piece of paper? And he started basically writing down lines from what, this guy was saying, I guess, to another guy or whatever, the cashier or whatever. And they're watching MTV. Again, this came out in 85. So yeah, MTV started, I think, like 81, 82. So yeah, obviously it was still up and going when MTV, played music. And, I mean, my God, that was, a good time. But, yeah, so obviously all these bands coming in the 1980s, I mean, you had I think it was the second British invasion. I mean, you had Wham and Billy Idol. And again, just talking about bands that, wore makeup, as, it goes on here talking about, I mean, especially in the second verse, which I guess, is controversial, what I've come to find out, through Wikipedia and such. But, just talking about in the second verse here, you see the little, FAGGOT. I don't feel like saying the word, I don't want to, be flagged or whatever it is. But, I mean, it's not a nice word. I mean, it's not used that much during these days. I know I was called it when I was a kid by my sister, which was not nice. It didn't feel nice. But again, this is what these guys were talking about. Again, for me, I mean, the context here is, what the guy was saying in the store and kind of how Mark took it and just wrote it down. And this was the attitude of a lot of people, and it still is the attitude today for some people. For artists today, I mean, it hasn't really changed some. Well, it's changed some, I would think. Androgyny is not as frowned upon or whatever by some, I don't think. But yeah, just talking about see the little F worth the earring and the makeup. Yeah, buddy, that's his own hair. See the little F got his own jet airplane. That F is a millionaire. So a lot of envy, I would say, a lot of jealousy here. Whether I mean, I guess they kind of admit it because it goes on to say, I wish I kind of, I wish I learned to play the guitar. I wish I learned to play the drums. I could have been a millionaire. But I mean, it does. I mean, you got to be skillful, obviously. But yeah, maybe not sometimes, you don't look at like Sid Vicious or something, but yeah. But yeah, so talking about bands again, like I said, you talk about like Motley Crue. I know, Vince Neil, I mean, the makeup there. I mean, Kiss, I mean, yeah, they wore makeup, obviously that was part of their look in the 70s. But again, and all these like glam bands, and Queen, I mean, Queen came along in like 1975, but still they were there in the 80s as well. The Cars, I know the Cars, I mean, good lord, look at Benjamin Orr. I mean, I guess, androgynous looks there, but he was hot as hell. And I mean, that's what, and there's always going to be that manly kind of thing. I want to see a man, like a Johnny Cash, or, I mean, I don't know what Roger Miller, I don't know what a manly man singer looks like, really. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But yeah, and just looking at, there's these pretty guys, wearing makeup or whatever, and all they have to do is, play a guitar and go on stage and they make millions. And I mean, I've heard that, I've heard that from like my grandmother comes to mind, and not even just about musicians, talking about like, sports, I like hockey a lot, hockey players make millions of dollars. And, I mean, not even, I mean, you think about baseball players or basketball players, they make millions more than hockey players. And it's just like, why is this guy getting paid, $40 million a year to shoot a ball into a hoop? And, I'm getting paid $20 a year or whatever, or $20 a year, $20 an hour to, move a fridge or whatever this guy was saying. So, there's going to be people like that. But I mean, again, these people are on the road a lot. I mean, they're away from their families and all this stuff. And I mean, they, give inspiration and they, entertain millions or whatever. But anyway, I mean, I don't really have a problem. I don't care how you make your money, really. So yeah, it's just, so I just like how Mark, took all this and made it into a song. So that's where I can see, I know the controversy with all that. I do see that radio stations, don't play this song because of those, that verse and such. But again, that attitude, I mean, you think of people like today from like Harry Styles or something like that. I know he like wore a dress on a cover of a magazine, but I mean, I think of like Kurt Cobain, who was wearing a dress on stage in the 90s. And I mean, it's just always been like that, and it's just, I don't really care what you wear, honestly. It's just like, it's like, I don't care enough to care and like be mad or whatever. I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I don't care what you wear. Yeah, it's just whatever. And I think I mean, I know Kurt Cobain, was a very kind of, I know he was kind of like a feminist and all that stuff, I think. Anyway, I know he hated homophobes and all that stuff. I know there's quotes about that. So yeah, I mean, he always kind of putting out a statement, it feels like, and I like, that he did that and wore a dress on stage or whatever. I remember that video. But yeah, so it's just like, I mean, it's always been there, I feel like, even before, like I said, the 80s. I mean, Queen was there in the 70s. And of course you had like bands like Sweet, again, with the whole disco scene kind of thing, guys were kind of, not the manly kind or whatever, or even go back to the 60s, there was bands there that weren't, that were kind of, on, the, skirting, not being, manly or whatever, kind of being androgynous a little bit. My favorite band, The Doors, I think of like Jim Morrison. I mean, I guess he was kind of a manly man. He had kind of a manly face and all that stuff, but, he still, it was kind of, I don't know, it still wasn't like, it was still kind of changing, I guess, to something else, I guess. And then what came to be in the 80s, and you had like guys like George Michael with the beautiful hair, like it says here, look at his hair, that's his own hair, whatever. And I mean, George Michael and like I said, like Benjamin Orr, these guys were hot. And again, it sounds like envy here from these guys that has to do this like hard job or whatever in their minds. And all these other guys just have to write songs and go on tour. But I mean, still being a musician is not the easiest thing, getting big. It's not the easiest thing, especially, back in the 80s. Now you have things like SoundCloud and all this stuff. You could try to put your music out there, but it's still kind of hard. So anyway, yeah, I just really like how all this came together. I like Mark's, inspiration for the song. And I like how, again, I just like how he was in the store. He's just like, get a piece of paper. I can write some things down that you're saying for a song, and I like how the people had no idea who he was. So yeah, the whole thing, money for nothing, chicks for free. And it's just like, again, it seems like a lot of jealousy going on here, and I like how it says as well. I know this video is so long, but this song was so long as well. But it's just talking about that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing, chicks for free. So talking about how that isn't work. Again, that whole thing. That's not a job. Somebody I know. A lot of people who are YouTubers and stuff. It's like you gotta get a real job and all this stuff. So again, it's always that kind of old traditional crap to me. Talking about that's not hard work and all this stuff. So yeah, really like Mark's take on this. And again, Dire Straits, a band I've heard so much about, but I've never listened to. I don't know, maybe I've heard a song somewhere, but I don't think so. So anyway, I guess that's it. This was one of my longest videos in a while. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I feel like I talked fast in this or something. I don't know what's going on. But it's late, and I have to walk my dog in the rain. So, yeah, I'm going to end this here. And thanks for watching again. Thanks for the request. This was a great song to listen to. And I thank you very much. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.